Right, Paul, the season is done, and you wanted to appoint a manager very quickly. You've done it before, even before the last game of the season. So how pleased are you to start with Gary Johnson signing for a 2-year contract?
Well, firstly, I'm pleased that the season's over, John. I think we probably all are. I think we're all probably looking forward to a lovely summer and coming back to a club which is revitalised, passionate, positive and enthusiastic. And I think the season starts now. The season started actually with the appointment of Gary Johnson on a 2-year contract last week. It's really important to get that put to bed early because I've said time and time again, the reason we're in the mess we're in is poor player recruitment, and that stems from the manager appointment. So let's hope we've put that to bed nice and early. An appointment which has been really well received by supporters. I think it's probably one of the few times I've seen forums where there's been no negativity about a decision of this board, so that's a real positive. I think it's well received by the players as well. Obviously some of them won't be here, and it's been very well received by the rest of the management team. So all round it's been seen as a very positive appointment. And I think talking to other clubs, my colleague was at Bristol City on Sunday to see their incredible result, and they were very positive there about Gary and what he done for them. So I think it's a great appointment, and the thing about getting it done early is it avoids speculation. It shows the board's been decisive, and hopefully it will mean that supporters looking to thinking about renewing or taking out new season tickets will see, well, that's a good start by the board. And of course now a little bit out of our hands. Obviously we've given Gary the budget, and he was aware of the budget before he decided to come on board. Now it's fully much in Gary's hands to recruit players, look at what he's got, move on what he doesn't want. So I think we're going to see a lot of change from the playing squad. Obviously quite a few players are still contracted, some will stay, some will not. But I think we're all looking forward now to a new manager and a clean slate with a fresh bunch of players and some players who we very much want to keep. So yeah, I think that's been really positive. And the player recruitment has already started. We had Gary organised one trial match last week. He's got another one coming up, so he's certainly hitting the ground running.
Yeah, so the club is staying fully professional, full-time on and off the pitch. And what's going to change in terms of how the day-to-day runnings of the club? I mean, you're going to rely on volunteers to come forward and hopefully chip in.
It's been a hugely difficult time because people are having to the prospect of job losses, people are having their salaries reduced, their hours reduced through no fault of their own. Very good people throughout the club. So there will be a need for volunteers to get more involved. And so this is a direct appeal really to supporters. If you think you can add anything, contribute anything, bring some value to this football club on a match day or outside of a match day, please get in touch with us. There's so many things that we need to get done and things we need to do better. And whether that's turnstile operators, selling match day programs, helping out on the commercial side, doing some reception work, helping at sell tickets during the week, man the shop. There's a whole myriad of things that we can do and that we need to do. And the beginning of that is the relationship we've now got with the Robbins Trust, with Clive Gowan joining the board. Clive has made a really positive input since he joined. I think he's jumped in at the deep end really, because obviously it's not a great time to be joining the board. But having said that, his contribution has been excellent, as I always thought it would be, to be fair. And so hopefully the trust will be and are taking on certain aspects of the club. They're taking on the running of 4 fundraising events in the coming season. They'll be doing the open day for us and stuff like that. So huge amount. But this used to be a club very much based upon volunteers. Let's face it, I'm a volunteer. So if anybody out there wants to get involved in Cheltenham Town, please get in touch with me at the club. Email me, or to speak to anybody at the club, and we'll be delighted to have a chat. I really mean that.
There's a fan focus group on May the 18th organised by the Trust, and how important is that going to be to gauge fans' views going back into the National League?
It is. I mean, one of the things I've said, I think we've always been reasonably good at fan engagement, but I think not as good as perhaps we should be. And we did the fans for exercise last year. One or two things did change as a consequence of that, but I think fans felt there perhaps wasn't enough feedback on other issues. So with Clive's going to take that on now, which will be great. And Rick Minter will be convening them, which he did last time. So that's what he does professionally. So those will be up and running. So we're looking forward to seeing the outcome of those. I'm not sure what Clive has got on the agenda, what sort of items we're looking to talk about, but I'm sure there'll be lots of interesting stuff to come forward, and hopefully stuff that we can actually deliver on, which doesn't have a financial impact. We don't have to, spend money to do it. So there's lots of quite that's a really good thing to look forward to, and hopefully we can get a load of fans together again and spruce up the ground close season. I mean, Wimbledon, I didn't go on Saturday, but they were saying in the boardroom how many volunteers they've got at that club is staggering, and well over 100, probably hundreds of volunteers at Wimbledon, and that's a great example of how I think a community club, a club of our size, should be running. Far more engagement and far more involvement, and a community club in every sense of the word, not just the fact that we go out into the community at schools and stuff like that, but we have the community helping us too.
Yeah, and just finally, Paul, season tickets are always important to get them in early and to help the club and set the tone almost for the next season. Is it more important this year than ever before that fans show the backing and
with
the season ticket?
It's always important, but obviously the impact upon relegation and the loss of revenue, season tickets become even more important if they can be than previously. So we're looking at doing a couple of things we haven't tried before. We're going to be making a couple of announcements towards the end of the week, Saturday, in terms of we're launching a bounce back campaign, and one of the main things behind that will be to try and invigorate season ticket sales with some pretty chunky incentives. So we're going to be announcing that, as I say, at the end of the week. That won't impact upon anybody who's already renewed or people who renewed before then. They will all be able to partake in what we have in mind. But hopefully that will kickstart the season ticket sales process, and get to heights we perhaps weren't expecting.
Thanks, Paul.